Hello and welcome for the penultimate episode of the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike and Laurent. I am back. I have recovered from COVID and I've had a great Sunday. The season has come to the end. Manchester City are champions, but we lose some friends in claret and blue and the top four goes smooth. But first, Mike, what about my boys in blue?
Oh my God, what a championship Sunday. Everything happened. We're going to cover all of it. We're going to cover the championship race. We're going to cover the relegation race. We're going to cover the top four race. We're going to talk about all of it. The Salernitana survival race. But first, we got to go back to Manchester. Laurent, take me through the scenes. Now, everybody listening to this knows all the games are happening concurrently. So, were you watching just your game or were you watching Gold Rush?
I was watching Gold Rush, but it was choppy, so I went just to my game.
Okay. So I was watching both games.
I did see
the side by side. It was amazing.
So first, I was very excited by the Liverpool goal that they gave up. I was like, this is great. Schadenfreude is fantastic.
Wolves go up 1-0.
Yeah, Wolves go up 1 on literally like goal kick to a guy and Neto scored. I mean, it was it is the route 1 of Route 1. So I was like, haha, that's funny because Van Dijk didn't play and Konate made a mistake. He went under the ball, misjudged it. It goes, they score. Okay, that's fine. That's the last time I watched Liverpool for the rest of the day. I'm like, okay. Fuck them.
Well, so right after that, Den Donker should have made it 2.
Right? I have heard that Liverpool had been playing badly and they have been playing badly. That is not news.
And full stop. We take a lot of time on this show to give Liverpool shit. Let's be fair here. They are battered, right? Yeah. Salah, who made a cameo in this game, Van Dijk, they're fucking banged up.
And they are on game 64. They have played as many games as you can play. Let's just put this into context. Some teams in their same league are playing 41 games. You know, a League Cup game that you lose, an FA Cup game that you lose, and maybe one other game, and then the 38-game schedule. Liverpool are on 60-something.
Yeah.
Like, they're just playing
over and over again. All the way in the FA Cup, won that. They went all the way in the League Cup, won that. They're all the way in the Champions League. They're in the final, and now all the way to game 38.
Extra time in both those games, so that's
true
an extra hour, plus penalties, which are like, stress times 10. It's like those extra, like, there's 100 pitch games where you throw and your arm's fine. You're like, oh, I'm cruising. I got the shutout going. We're up 5-0. I'm just gonna. But these are like 9th inning, out of the bullpen, tired because you pitched the day before innings. Where you're like, my arms are. Anyway.
And so it should be said, Konate in for Van Dijk shows that he's got quite a ways to go still.
Well, you can make mistakes. It happens.
Sure. But this was kind of a Brendan Rodgers Liverpool appearance, if you will, right? It was like, that's an Arnett. Oh shit.
I mean, I think just from my sort of listening to the podcast Arati, the feeling was that Liverpool did not expect to win. They were like, City have got this. It's fine. No big deal. They dropped their goal. They're a little gutted about it. They're fine. But Anfield is basically buoyant and they're good about with where they are. They're like, okay, we're not going to win. No big deal. Right. On the City side of town. Sorry,
go ahead.
As on the City side of town, I see the lineup. I'm like, oh, we're fucked. Fernandinho's in at center back. John Stones is in at right back. So Pep decides in the most important game of the season to completely make his back line backwards. So Stones should have been a center back. Fernandinho shouldn't have been playing. Cancelo should have been at right back, and Zinchenko should have been at left back. Instead, he fucking shuffles the whole thing around. So 3 players out of the 4 players in the back line are in the wrong place.
Right.
This is classic Pep. Classic.
It is. And we saw it in the Champions League final last year. I said it on the preview episode.
Yeah.
There's a chance that Pep could pep this.
And he did.
And he did. But it's 1-0 Wolves at Anfield. Because I'm trying to go chronological order with everything going back and forth as I was experiencing it, which was amazing, right?
So
Spurs, by the way, are in the top 4 race. They're 2-0. They're cruising. I was like, that's exactly what I wanted. And I said that on the preview as well. I'm like, hopefully they'll be able to just get a couple of goals early and I don't have to watch them, right? Because then you need literally 3 goals against Norwich to lose at that point because a draw gets you there. So fine. But then, what was it? A couple minutes before halftime,
Yes.
Matty Cash, right? Matty Cash,
So
coming off of a cross from Dina,
yeah.
finds the back of the net. I thought
So
Ederson should have done better there. What did you think about that?
yeah, I mean, he got a hand to it. Not made
like
a
right
big.
at him.
He's not made a big save for 2 months. Oh, actually, sorry. The Athletic game was a big save. But I mean, in the league, it feels like he's not saving us the way when you watch Liverpool and you're like, "Will you please fucking lose?" And Allison just gobbles things up. You're like, "Fucking Allison." Anyway, so City are playing badly. Like they're just shots are getting blocked. Cancelo got a block. I mean, they only had 4 shots before the Matty Cash goal, and it was against the run of play, but Ollie Watkins, I didn't know this, but in my purview of things, is literally the fastest striker in the league. He and whatever the other guy is, someone else who's also really fast. I can't remember who it is, but he's up there with the hardest charging running center forwards in the league. And Dino is just getting killed. Like every other time, you're just like, oh my God. And then the Matty Cash goes in. City are just like, this is going badly. And you can feel it. Liverpool feels that. They're like, then they start to get
nervous. A minute.
Yeah, but they don't get buoyant. They get nervous because they're behind and they're not really playing well either.
Yes, but the coolest part of this day of Championship Sunday was watching. First, it was the City fans who saw that Liverpool were losing.
Yeah, they were excited.
They all get a roar.
Yeah.
And there's nothing relatively speaking going on in front of them. They're all looking at their phones like this, like
it just goes through the ground. Yeah.
Right. And so news goes through the ground. And I had that experience years ago in the Tottenham Champions League run at Barcelona, where they needed an Inter loss. And so we heard that, and like everybody's like, yeah, all right, cool. So I remember this feeling. But watching Liverpool and City fans do it simultaneously at each other from different cities was awesome. And so yeah, now you're down 1-0. Liverpool, they were tied at that point. So they're like, we're gonna get this fucking winner. And everybody in the world goes, they're gonna fucking get that winner. Like
I never thought Liverpool were gonna lose that game. It just didn't. It never really occurred to me that they would lose.
Yeah,
right? I thought maybe a draw could happen. It was sort of skirting along as things went along, but City are playing badly. Everyone on Twitter, the entire City Twitter is like, Fernandinho, we love him. He cannot play. He's got to go. Like it's just like, and for once, for thank fucking Christ, halftime comes, Pep does the right thing. Zinchenko comes in, that makes 3 things happen. Zinchenko goes to left back. Cancelo goes to the other side. John Stones moved to center back. All of a sudden, I can breathe and go, okay, we've got things the way they're supposed to be. And City do start to play and turn up the screw. Things start to move. There was wide movement. Foden goes wide. The whole game, I thought Gabriel Jesus, he's been really good all year. He's still working hard. They're pressing. They're doing the right things. But it did start to feel better, even though there were a lot of really scary moments. And I mean, Ollie Watkins late in the first half had another chance. City only had one
second half because I remember it on the left net.
It was where he missed it. He just sort of flubbed it.
Yeah.
But then in the 69th minute, it's just after the big change, which is Sterling coming on for Mahrez, who was bad, and Gundogan coming on for Silva, who Silva is not for this game. Silva is for defensive games. Silva is for running. What happens with Gundogan is he can do 2 things. What people don't know who aren't City fans is basically Ilkay Gundogan is the player City has who has the best striker's instincts, for lack of a better word.
Okay.
He's the player who always goes to the back post. He's always there for the cutbacks. He essentially plays for City as a striker, but not by occupying center backs, but by making runs that strikers make. So he's in the place where he's supposed to be. And after the Coutinho goal, I was dead. Even though those changes were made, the Coutinho goal goes straight route 1, banged off Ollie Watkins. Coutinho makes an incredible move, a nice touch, and route 1, bing, bang, boom, City down 2-0. And if I tell you, I was dead. We was over. I felt nothing. My soul was crushed. I couldn't believe they were going to blow it. And it just was gone. And Coutinho got a cheer for coming off. Nakamba comes on, which I think is probably an underrated change that kind of says to Aston Villa, we're not going to try and score anymore. And I'm not sure if what that did, but Sterling came on. He started doing Sterling things. The width that City always plays with really started happening. So Foden went wide on the left with Zinchenko, and everything started going down Zinchenko's side. And Sterling was on one side, and the chance started to get created. Sterling digs out a great cross. And I mean, Sterling is not known for a great cross, but he did a winger thing that wingers do. He gets to the edge of the box, cuts it back, and who's there? Gundogan is there. The goal goes in. And if I don't tell you that it was exactly the feeling of Real Madrid, where Real Madrid were dead, there was no shot, they were cooked, but they got the goal, boom. The Etihad turns literally upside down. Everything's happening, and it's like, okay, we've got this. It's on. Yeah. And within another couple minutes, Zinchenko is possessed by his fallen comrades in Ukraine. He's like a fucking Ukrainian tank commander with a goddamn tractor pulling broken tanks out of war. He cuts back, beats his man, cuts it back to Rodri, who, cool, as you like, just slots it home. Those shots, the same shots all game had been getting blocked. The same shots all game had been going over the bar. The same shots all game were all over the place. But Rodri, City have a lot of best players. They're all great. But he's like the secret cog that there's no replacement for. He slots it home. It's level. It's over. I mean, City are just going to get this game. I'm alive. I feel great. Then I could start thinking, after the second goal, then the moments I'm like, somehow I was able to calm down and go, City can do this. 93-20, we've done it. The crowd felt the same. The energy felt the same. Everything really felt the same, but the highs were all like sort of cascading on each other, like you're at the beach and the waves are hitting you. You're like, and then you're like, yeah. And then the next goal goes in, and then I can't control it. I can't breathe. I'm crying and laughing. Ever just get overwhelmed. It was Mora. It was the same, not the same situation, but the same feeling as the Aguero goal. The same everything, because if you think about Dzeko getting the goal, you're kind of widening in this wave of like, and then he scores again, and you get lifted off the ground, and I never thought that feeling could happen again, and it happened again. That feeling, that City thing happened again, and I'm gonna make an editorial thing, and I read this in the Guardian. The guy really put it well. The moments are the things you cannot buy. City can buy the wins on the day-to-day. The money makes a difference. The players make a difference.
Yeah.
But nothing can buy that.
No.
That moment can't be bought.
No.
And so you pay for the lottery dice of those.
Oh, of course.
Right? And you pay for that chance to have something fucking incredible happen. And I got the shot of the heroin that I'll never get again, and it'll disappear. And I have to keep watching a stupid fucking game to have it happen again.
Yeah, but so listen, this is the name of the show. This is why we named the show Squeaky Bum Time. Yeah. Okay. Our Twitter header we made 2 years ago. It's half Lucas Moura.
Yeah, now it's going to have to be Gundogan. We're going to put
famous moment in Tottenham history, and Sergio Aguero, right? Yeah. It is. You're absolutely right.
And it's 10 years. It's I know. So poetic. It's incredible.
But so it's. We talk about it. You know, the emotions that go into football that you don't really get anywhere else.
They do not exist. They don't. I don't know how or why or what. I have watched Yankee baseball my whole life. I've seen every moment from fucking 1977 on. Like, I have memories of those things. There's nothing close to this. Zero. Yeah. Nothing.
But
Zero.
That's so it's funny. Dave and Chris, the guys who run Chop Sports, I had to really like kind of massage in what Squeaky Bum Time meant when we were talking to them originally.
Like, what?
Dave, I'm looking at the camera. Dave, this is what we mean. Okay.
Yeah. I can send them the 5 minutes. It's just incredible.
You don't have to be a football fan or anything.
You get swept up.
You watch that 5 minutes and you go, wait a minute. that just won that won them the league, like the
Yeah.
trophy. Yes, it did. And so in
The
the same
magnitude of
time
the
frame,
moment is just
in the same time frame, City go up 3-2. Mo Salah comes off the bench, that son of a bitch, and he ties Heung-Min Son again for the fucking golden
on a
boot
real scrappy shitty goal.
on a shit goal.
I love that he's all excited and cheering, and the fans are like, "It's 3-2."
yeah, right. But
There's
so
another great
then,
moment. By the way, the fucking Wolves fans, City fans will love Wolves fans forever. They somehow convinced Anfield that the game got tied, and the Anfield for a moment thought that they had won the league.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
Oh, that's
yes, they
unbelievable.
got him. Because in the commentary, they're like, "Yeah, someone has spread a rumor that this game is tied. It's not tied." And Anfield's going nuts. So for about 35 seconds, they thought they won the league.
Oh my God. That's
And then
diabolical.
this Wolves fan started singing, "You thought you won the league. You thought you won the league." So it must have come from the away end.
Oh my God.
I mean, from the away end.
And again, for the uninitiated, you never see that in American sports.
No.
You never see the other team's fans tricking the home team's fans into thinking they won something. Okay?
Incredible.
Remarkable.
Incredible.
Wow. I mean,
So
look.
so for City fans,
Wow.
even though that 5 minutes, it's only, it's the 76th minute to the 81st minute. It's just like boom, 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 boom. I lose my mind. I cry. I don't even know what happened. But the last 15 minutes, I did feel the fear. Like this cannot end soon enough. And one of the things that I thought City did that was different from Real Madrid, they somehow learned in that moment. And I'm thinking, in my head, I hope they carry this moment on. They fucking put that ball in a corner, and they did not leave it that corner. Gabriel Jesus and Foden were like, not today.
Yeah. Well,
Not
because Ederson
today.
was hurt, right? So I was like,
I was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Right. I was like, I didn't know they would add so much more extra time. They didn't.
Barely gave it like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I think it's because they knew that Aston Villa were done.
Well, yeah. But I was just waiting for that shoe to drop that one last time. It was awesome. I mean, look, and that's just one of the 3 storylines we had going into the day, right? And we didn't even do it nearly enough justice.
No. I mean, it's just, it can't really be. It's really hard to get a hold of it. And I thought the scenes at the end were incredible. This is what football can do. Like the Zinchenko with the Ukrainian flag, taking it off, putting it on the trophy, breaking down, had Lisa in tears. We're both crying. We're like, that was incredible. His interview was incredible. Pep crying was incredible. The moments, the emotions of just like all the shit they've gone through. They played it cool to lose to Real Madrid. That's gotta crush you. And I will, to this day, believe that the effort and shit that was put into the Atletico match killed them. They almost collapsed. Like this change and this win, had City lost this was choke job all time. Like Guardiola was going to be destroyed. Yeah. For fucking around with the lineup. The idea that he got the lineup right. He got the lineup right because he fucked it up. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. So, I mean, because the West Ham game was a little bit of and then Mahrez would have been like, I ruined the season. I missed a penalty. I mean, City stumbled into this and did have to fight to win. Even, the way Liverpool have fought, City had to fight. And they did have not 14. Liverpool had 2 games in hand, so let's call it 8. They had effectively an 8-point lead.
2.5 game lead.
It's a lot to make up, especially these 2 teams are fucking incredible. We both said it early on. 90 points, 93 points. What did they hit? 92 and 93. Yeah. Right? And we even, a couple, as we go down to the relegation fight, 8 wins, man. 8 wins.
8 wins. How about the fighting Jesse Marsch's, huh?
That was fucking awesome.
So and again,
as we go from the top, we're gonna go down to the bottom because this is what matters.
In the same 90 minutes, 105 minutes with halftime, right? There were so many storylines playing out, and it was so fun to watch all of it play out simultaneously.
So good.
I will say, and I said this, I think on the show on Monday, but like Italy does it where they're like, okay, you two are in relegation matches over here. You both are playing at this time. Liverpool and City, you're playing over here. It's almost as if like you could get it in a same normal match day window. Tottenham and Arsenal would have to play at simultaneously.
Right. So the reason why they play them all at the same time is to avoid shenanigans.
Yes, but what I'm saying is
they take the teams that could shenaniganize and shenanigan together.
They match them, right? So you could do this smarter. Look at the NFL, please. But selfishly, I want that because I want to watch more of it, right?
It's like that's so cool, but it's so great to have it all at once because
it's something overwhelming.
Immediate about it.
It's overwhelming. And I got spoiled this time because my team had the easiest draw and they just showed up and they did what they had to do. We're barely even going to talk about Tottenham. That's how much of an afterthought this 5-0 win is. Oh, by the way, with the Golden Boot winner again, third straight year in a row, Tottenham Hotspur.
And he wasn't in the finalist for player of the season.
Nope.
How does that work?
0 penalty goals, by the way.
That's bizarre. That is bizarre. I don't understand how voting works in this sport. Like,
it's
Phil Foden is young player of the season.
Would you like to go revisit the Diaz versus Kane? I don't want to do it. You know why? Salah's gonna get it because he had the most assists and the most goals, and I'm gonna have to sit here and go. No, that's the correct answer.
De Bruyne got player of the season already.
Oh, he did.
He did.
I missed that.
Yeah, that's insane. And he's not. He didn't. He's not. He didn't show up for the first half of the year.
Yeah, he was unbelievable in spurts, but God, that's horrible. Anyway, it's not important. I totally missed that in the whole craziness of Sunday.
He didn't get Writers Player of the Season. He got the Premier League Player of the Season, which is fan voted. So I don't know what that means, but
that's
whatever.
Yeah. Okay. That's all right. But Leeds and Burnley, we set it up on the Monday show, on the Tuesday show, where Leeds and Burnley walk into the ring tied. Burnley on goal difference, obviously.
Burnley had to match whatever Leeds did.
Correct.
Because they had the tiebreaker.
And I said that I think Burnley had the harder matchup against Newcastle than Leeds with Brentford, which is no easy feat. The only difference being Burnley was at home, whereas Leeds would be on the road. That's a tough place to play.
For them, yeah.
But Brentford are playing with the definition of house money at this point. They're having a coronation. Yeah. No, but they're having a coronation amongst their fans. We're not going anywhere. This is great. And Leeds are fighting for their lives. They get a goal chalked off early. I forget exactly when, like right around like the 20th minute or so.
He's really good.
Joe Gelhardt, who's been great. So they miss one early, and you go, just the dagger. It hurt for Leeds. I was like, oh no, this is going to be bad. Rafinha gets the penalty kick in the 56th minute. They go up. Now at this point, they're winning. Burnley are losing. So there's a lot that has to happen for that to come all the way back around to bite Leeds in the ass. But Sergi Canos scores a really nice goal for Burnley on the 78th minute. Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, I mean, here it comes. Thankfully, Newcastle held up their end of the bargain on the other side of the country. They end up beating Burnley 2-1 on the strength of Callum Wilson's first brace of the season. The guy's been broken in half for
he missed most of the season, but my guy, Mr. fucking St. Maximin just
he was great. He was great.
He's amazing.
He finally came in good for us, right? After praying to the
I know. I mean, he must annoy the fuck out of Newcastle fans because he doesn't defend. He's all over the place. He gives away the ball. He never shoots. But God, for the moments, they're just incredible.
Yeah. He's a super
I probably wouldn't want him on my team. Let him be.
No.
Let him stay at Newcastle forever.
Well, this was Sonny like 4 or 5 years ago before he was like, oh, I could just. Kane's gonna do. I could do. Oh, okay.
I can do this stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that was Sonny. I remember him getting it in an FA Cup semifinal against Chelsea. Poch put him at left wing back, and he got a red card at Wembley. It was bad.
Well, he's secret dirty, Sonny.
Yeah. And apparently,
he broke a man's leg.
Apparently, he almost got sent off in this game after he scored the 2 goals.
He's throwing bows.
I didn't see that. Well,
I mean, it's one of those things where the racial profiling goes your way, right? No one expects a little Asian guy with a neat haircut.
He could steal $100,000 and walk out the front door.
Exactly.
Because he's a smile. He's adorable.
Exactly.
He's fucking adorable.
The same way that Fernandinho got away with it for years by smiling and helping guys up after he fucking side them down with a rock.
Right. So we say goodbye to Burnley. We will
they
not
really
miss
didn't.
them.
They really didn't have chances. Cornet somehow hit the bar off, put a couple in, but I think for them, their game that they missed, and we called it out, the Norwich game that they drew, where Cornet takes the penalty off of Rodriguez, is like, I got this, and blows it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that they had to have, because those 2 points would have put them clear. And then the real question now is, Burnley were bought under the assumption that Deutsch would be the manager and they would stay in the Premier League. There is apparently a $65 million pulled forward loan payment due. Burnley could fucking see the trapdoor really fast.
This could go poorly.
Right? So there's that parachute payment that normally teams use to bolster their team and push them back up. They're going to have to take that money, give it to the bank. They've got 9 players out of contract. Me is already coaching. He's basically saying, I'm done. Tarkovsky's out of contract. So the heart and soul of the team will go. Pope is not going to want to not be in the Premier League. He's the type of goalkeeper that, some team that's getting promoted is like, oh, we'll take fucking Nick Pope tomorrow. Yeah, like, absolutely. Here's $20 million. Thank you. We'll fix your teeth too. Let's fucking go. Right? He looks like a Simpson. So that team will get pulled apart. I don't expect them to
like pop an OJ or the cartoon.
What? No, the cartoon. Not like an OJ.
I was like, he's not a murderer. Fuck.
No, like the Simpsons. The more famous.
That's what I thought.
Season 35.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so Burnley, I think, should be worried, should be concerned. The fact that they were in the Premier League for 6 seasons is actually quite incredible. And I think Marsch can kind of go, told you.
Yeah.
They did get the bounce. I think the thing that happened in the relegation fight was all the teams made moves. And they all really played well. Let's say the final 10 games.
Yeah.
They kicked on. One thing that made you think Burnley was going to win was that they had that big victory against Everton. We were like, Everton's fucked. But then Everton was like, no, actually, wait a minute. We're better than you guys.
Yeah.
We're just going to play.
So to speak to how well that these teams played, right? Look at the gap between Burnley and Watford. It's 12 points, right?
Yeah, they just took off.
It's in as much as Norwich and Watford were like, when we're relegated, we're done. Burnley, really, Leeds, Everton, they all really were fighting for their lives. They actually were so good that they almost, if this would have gone on for another week or two, Southampton is in the fight.
You give this season another 5 weeks, Southampton's getting relegated.
Right.
Right, exactly. I agree. Yeah, I think Southampton were just like, hey, is this season? I thought the season was done 3 weeks ago. I'm getting a little. It's that mirrors appear, objects in the rearview mirror appear closer than they are. You're like,
yeah.
So actually, I mean, if you want to start tipping them now, like Southampton would be tipped to go down.
100%, yes.
They're not.
I think the main thing for me is if you had to pick one between Everton, Leeds, and Burnley, you would never have hesitated to say, get Burnley out of the fucking league.
Yeah, it was we said it in the beginning of the season. There's too much claret and blue, and they have to go. Yeah, I was done with them.
Wait, we have to revisit our 2021 EPL table predictions.
Are my huge mistake. There's 2 things that we share. We both really overrate Leicester, and I overrated Manchester United getting Ronaldo and Varane.
I would like to say that
yours is pretty good. You've got the top 4.
100% on the top 4. Okay, Mike's top. Let's go top 10, and then we'll do European places, and then we'll do the relegation. Okay, Manchester City.
Okay, we both got that.
Chelsea. We both got that. We were both wrong. We thought they were better than Liverpool, but we both had Liverpool 3rd. And number 4, we had Tottenham Hotspur, and you had Manchester United.
I did. They were bad.
They finished so far back in 6th.
They're so bad. They had their worst season ever.
If you told me that Tottenham would finish 13 points clear of Manchester United, I would never believe you. I'd be like, wow. Well, no, you know what I would say? Wow, Nuno is a pretty good coach, huh?
Exactly. Although, to be fair to Leicester, they did pull it together down the stretch.
They did. Yeah. They got it together. So okay, I had United at 5.
Yeah.
And you had Leicester at 5. You had Arsenal at 6, which was
Did
much
I get
closer
that
than
right?
I thought that they'd be.
I had there we go.
And I had Leicester 6. So all right. And let's see.
You got
Villa,
weird
I had
here.
at 7. I loved Villa.
No.
I loved Villa. So going into our fantasy draft, which by the way, I won the title.
I haven't looked at that team.
It's okay. I wanted Emi Buendia more than I wanted anything for a long time, and I didn't get him. And I fucking threw a bitch fit about it, and he stunk. So yeah, I mean, I was surprised by that.
Yeah,
you had Brighton 7. This was the big.
Hey, by the way, not that far off.
Not that far off. You had them at 7. They come in at 9.
Yeah,
above 500. Also, by the way,
down the stretch. Yep, above 500. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a great shout. I think Tottenham at 4, Brighton at 7 are the highlights so far.
Yeah.
I had Leeds at 9th. Ooh.
Yeah, that didn't go well.
Everton.
You were assuming
10.
Bamford. Yeah,
I was assuming Bamford.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to shout. I think we both. No, you didn't. You didn't take the Kool-Aid as much as I did. Brentford, I had at 11. They were 13th. They're 1 point off of one game off of 11th. If Newcastle doesn't get bought mid-season, they're going 11.
Yeah, well, that's where you could see in my I feel like I got most things right down here in the bottom half. I didn't like Everton. I had them ranked 11th. West Ham at 10, I thought was a good shout. They ended up finishing 8th. And then, Leeds at 13, Wolves. I think we both underrated Wolves. Wolves ended up doing really well, but I think the Sa thing where he was propping them up really slipped them down. And then in a relegation zone,
nailed Southampton.
Yeah, we both had Norwich. We both had Burnley, but I just had Newcastle, and I didn't know that Newcastle because I just hated Steve Bruce.
No, you can't. You have to discount a little bit, right? Like I had Newcastle just above at 16 because I thought that they'd find a way to Burnley their way up. I didn't think that they would get bought by a fucking nation state and find a way up to the top half of the table. But the big thing I think we were probably both pretty wrong about. Yeah. And I think as the season went along and they started to fizzle was Crystal Palace, right? You had them at 17. I had them going down in 19th. Yeah. And if you remember, the way you were characterizing Burnley is where Crystal Palace was almost 365 days ago, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe not with the $65 million payment that required, but they're in trouble now. A lot of trouble. World of hurt, anything I want to say. But they had a lot of guys out of contract. They were struggling to be able to find out. They didn't know. It was like 3 weeks before the season. They didn't know who was going to be in the starting 11 on opening day.
Yeah. So
Vieira, for me, did a great job.
Yeah, it was Vieira and then Gallagher just being a revelation. Like I knew I had seen him at West Brom. To be like, let's be clear. It was not his first season. West Brom went down. He was in the midfield of a team that went down.
Yep.
And I think the thought was Vieira would have to take time to get that team to gel. I had liked Elise. I had liked Eze. Zaha's always there. I liked what they did, but I just thought, who is Gahey and how is Anderson going to do after getting relegated with Fulham? And I think Vieira got that team to play well before. And I think it is illustrative. If you look at that team, they are 12th, but they are +4. In a sea of every +4 puts you in the top half of the season. For a point of reference, Man United is at 0 and finished 6th. So I mean, Palace had 15 draws. They were in so many games. They beat City, so they had a great season. I mean, there's a lot of hope in this table. I think the Premier League is really set up to be really good, and for teams like City and Liverpool to actually dominate, which is the weird thing. Like, if everyone's going to come to play, City are going to be like, we're playing? Let's play. So, I mean, in terms of who's coming up, we do know 2. We know Bournemouth and Fulham are coming up. And then next weekend is the biggest game of the year. It is Huddersfield versus...
It's not the Champions League final.
It's bigger than the Champions League final. In terms of money, not in terms of quality. It is Huddersfield and Nottingham Forest. I think it's on the 29th.
Oh, that's 2? Oh, yeah, no, okay, that is.
I'm going to check right now.
Is that Sunday?
It is the 29th, yes. On the 29th.
Forest good. The Champions League finals on Saturday. We'll be able to watch both of them. But yeah, I mean, It's going to be a really fun league. We talked about all over the course of the season, and if you've listened to us say this multiple times, we love you and thank you
Yes.
for being with us the whole time, because we've had a lot of fun doing it, but we've been doing it because we know that people like you are out there. So it's been really cool to see that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
one
I
of the
mean, it's
things
been an
we've said,
amazing season.
it
Just
has. And one of the things we've said throughout is that how fun 90% of these games are. Really, from the time that Newcastle got bought, you can say that Burnley were the only team outwardly playing negative football at the start of the game, every game, right? And
so
even
here's
until
something
Dyche got fired.
here's something that Burnley did under Dyche that no one knows about, but this is deep nerds. They played a 4-4-2 with the original players' numbers in their positions. That's how old
Really?
school they play.
Oh, God.
Right? So the 7 was the wing, the 11 was the other winger. They had a 9 and a 10 at the 2 spots up front. They had 5, 6, they had 5, 4, 5, 1, 2. Everything was like the same as it would have been in 1930. So they played the 4-4-2 with the players in the positions where when you listen to a game and you hear them say, "Oh, they're playing with 2 8s." That's the 8 from from the original system. Or he's traditioning. He's a number 7. He's a winger. Those are numbers that are from the original 4-4-2, which I believe 4-4-2 comes to prominence in the 40s and 50s. I think so, but I'm not sure. And that's the way England played forever, to the point that they missed World Cups because they wouldn't change. And it's still played. I mean, it's still.
Yeah, I know. But so the point being is that we're losing Burnley. We have a new Newcastle. And by the way, I think they're the most interesting team going into the summer. And you already shouted it out. Like Southampton, Hasenhutl's not going to start that way. Like he's going to play the game. We don't know.
The key thing is if see the thing is like, does Ward-Prowse stay? I feel like Ward-Prowse is the type of player that Newcastle would target. Do you know what I mean? Like he's the kind of guy that they can grab him and go, they're leaving.
Yeah. right.
Or try and like Aston Villa's already grabbing players. Maybe they grab Douglas Luiz from Aston Villa and try and like claw and steal guys away. Like when they were about to go down, they were like, "Hey, Burnley, Chris Wood has an escape clause in his contract." Burnley's like, "What? What do you mean he has a what? He's gone?" Because they literally didn't know. They were like, "No one's gonna pay $25 million for Chris Wood. What are you doing? Are you crazy?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, look at that, boink." And that basically fucking sent Burnley downwards.
It was a literal slingshot.
Yeah.
And
not that Chris Wood did anything so much for Newcastle, but he did change the way they played. Like he gave them an outlet ball that you could just kick the ball to, reset the defense, say Maximin picks up the scraps and they can keep going.
Yep.
Right. Even though he didn't score any. I think he scored 1 goal.
No, but it's about the way to play, right? Like, and you didn't spend $25 million on Chris Wood because you thought Chris Wood was the answer.
No.
He was an ingredient in the stew, and in 2 ways. It was taking something from your neighbor's kitchen, if you will, right, and putting it in your fucking stew. So, but I think that everybody's going to be coming to play next year, and it's going to make it so much more fun. Take the overs all the time.
Hopefully football changes.
And as we look at the top 4 and where it finished, we both had Chelsea in second. They had a tumultuous year, to say the least. They lost 2 cup finals in penalties. They had their owner basically publicly castrated and forced to sell the team. They're in a lot of trouble until you remember the Billy Gilmores, the Conor Gallaghers.
They got tons of dudes.
So they're going to bring them all back in. And for one time, they're not going to sell them out and go buy Lukaku.
They're going to keep them. They need them.
I think they keep them, and they become next year's Arsenal. And that's not coming from me. That's not an insult. Arsenal had the most. They coughed up at the end and they tripped, but they had the most gel. You said it a lot, but it reminds of both of us of Pochettino final year of White Hart Lane Spurs. Right?
They're on the upward trajectory. They're 2 players away. A really commanding, like not even older. And I don't think they'll get a center forward, but a 25-year-old central midfielder who's just like, enough with the bullshit. Shaka, get out.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be so good that this guy never plays, right? Like, that's what it's not so much that Shaka's terrible. It's just like, you need to improve every single part of the team so that, this guy doesn't play anymore. Not because he's bad, but because the guy you have is just better, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be competitive. Like with City, right? They're always pushing each other. I think one of the things that Pep said in his moment of glory and cheer to bring it back to Liverpool, and I think this is true because we lived it, Yankees, Red Sox, early 2000s, it was absolutely this. When the two teams that are leading your league push each other, they elevate not only each other, but everyone else. The entire league has to go up. Right?
They have
you
to
don't
find a
have
way.
Moneyball. You don't have Moneyball without Yankees Red Sox because the A's are like, we've got to try and catch. We're not going to give up. Whereas the National League kind of just sat. We're like, how good are the Cardinals? They're okay. We just have to be as good as that. All right, no problem. Right? Where in the Mets would be like, oh, we're as good as the Cardinals this year. Then the Dodgers did lift that league, and I think that they have lifted the National League, and the Astros lifted that league as well. And you don't have that with the Yankees and Red Sox anymore. But you have that with Liverpool and City, and they do push each other. And Guardiola said it. He said, this championship would not be as great without a great rival. It doesn't mean anything. It means this much, and I'm crying because these guys pushed us and kicked us in our ass every fucking day that we couldn't shake them. They were just coming, this fucking red menace like McCarthy. Get the fuck out of here.
So I don't think there's any question that 2 of the top 4 from this year will be there next year. Right?
Yes.
We just said, I think City and Liverpool are probably 2 of the top 3 spots.
I think if Tuchel's there, he keeps Chelsea there.
You do.
I do.
I think that they are the most at risk of any of the teams. And this is before I see any of the business that Tottenham make this summer, which is a fool's errand, but this is where we are. But I am feeling quite optimistic about my Lily White loves.
If you keep Conte, you're there.
He's staying. That's what Sunday meant. He's staying.
Sure?
Yes. Okay. He's in. And Levy is going, he said foolishly, is going to open up the checkbook to an extent, right? Nobody's going to ask him to spend $100 million on Romelu Lukaku. Nobody's going to ask him to do ridiculous amounts of things. But the thing is that I think Italy is extremely under-scouted. And I think that we have the best scout for Italy in Paratici. Look at Kulusevski. Look at Bentancur. Listen, Sonny, yes. Kane, yes. Loris, yes. Romero, Bentancur, and Kulusevski changed everything once Conte basically bedded in, right? He came in early November, right before the holiday period. Romero came back, and things changed at Spurs. They were the 3rd best team over the course of the year from when Conte took over. I think, and look, by the way, they took 6 points off of City, and they drew Liverpool twice. They, with Conte, can swing their big dick with anybody else in the league.
Yeah, they need a lock picker.
Right? I think he's going to come for free, and I think everybody's going to see that he looks relatively similar to the old lock picker because he's the same person. Christian Eriksen's coming back.
Yeah, you need a lock picker
so
that when someone sits deep, you can open them up because that's really Spurs' problem right now, right?
But again,
they can get
this goes back to there will be significantly less amounts of sit back and wait teams.
Yeah, but they'll be tough, so they'll come punch you. I do want to give one short shrift to our XG thing that we talked about most of the season. By the way, the top 5 were exactly in line with XG.
Wow.
Right? The one outlier shows up in 6th, Crystal Palace so we can now say if you go in as a pundit and say Crystal Palace for top half finish, that's probably.
I was going to say that's going to be your pick next year.
A crazy
Jimmy
bet
Conrad's
right there,
going to retweet you,
right? Which is how I picked Brighton to finish where they were.
That's exactly
United were 6th, right? Then in 7th were Brighton. Then you get into negative West Ham. Then it gets a little bit more volatile. Where weirdly Leicester City were finished much better than their XG, but we know that they fucked up. They had some really bad games, and I think their XG was worse off because They got to get a new goalkeeper. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Badly.
Yeah.
That would be what I would say to Leicester. I'm like, fix those fucking set pieces and get a goddamn goalkeeper. But the bottom three even almost played out with Wolves. This is the biggest change.
Wow.
Wolves are in the bottom three by XG. That's all Jose saw. You could see Wolves really falling out of this league. They
Yeah.
just could not score, but they gave up. So put it this way, their goals against was 43. Their XG against was 60. That's a 17 goal difference. That is gigantic.
So one important footnote from Sunday was that the opening goal at Anfield was scored by Pedro Neto, which was amazing. I was so happy to see him. I love him. But he got hurt 20 minutes later and he came off. I have not looked. Yeah, I have not looked at all about how he's doing or anything like that. But yeah, I'm just hopeful that he's not hurt again long term, because if that's the case, that's what happened to them this year. Not this past last season. He found 15 goals out of nowhere. And
the other thing is Jimenez is gone, I think.
Yeah.
It's sad. Like, he cracked his skull open and he's just not there. And they did lose Traore. He gave them something when he was there. And I think and then not having him, they lost some dynamism. But my tips would be Palace to finish well above 12th into the top half, depending on if they keep Gallagher. And then Wolves to drop into
wait. They will not keep Gallagher, though.
Why not? Well, who says?
Fucking Chelsea.
You don't know that.
By the way, they can't do business with him to sell him.
Yeah. No, we don't know when that's going to happen. You got to think that by May 31st, they have to have that deal done, or Chelsea could go bankrupt.
Oh.
The license from the government does get in line. Anyway, I'm tired. I'm COVIDed.
I'm trying to find Pedro Neto injury stuff. I don't see much, so I mean, I'm
super duper happy with the season, especially the way it ended. It was an incredible thing to happen. As much as I hate the Scouse cunts in Liverpool, I'm appreciative of them as a great foil. I'm sure all the narrative is, you know what I thought about? I thought about how NBC put their whole crew in Liverpool. What are they really trying to tell you? They wanted the league to win in Liverpool.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That was actually one of the other cool things about Goal Rush, is that you had the English feed, right?
Yeah.
And so
it's Don Hutchinson who's on ESPN FC every night.
They need to do that. Like, they need to do it for Boxing Day. I know that they'll never do it because they have the different windows.
No, they do. It's on. That's on.
No. What I mean is like 10 games at once. But
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You'll
get 5, but not.
That was
10.
Intoxicating. That was amazing.
Did they just keep cutting in all the time with the 2 games?
So they had the City game on, and they were cutting in like red zone for different opportunities and goals and stuff. And it was awesome. It was awesome because the thing that they do well, and even if you watch a football highlight reel, it's never just like in the US, it's like, here's 90 seconds of all the goals or all the home runs or all the fucking big shots, and that's it. In football, they have a good job of like, this was an almost chance. This was a good opportunity.
Because there's not enough.
Pass. But sure. But what that does inherently is like, I don't know what's like, if I'm watching a hockey highlight, there's a goal. Here comes, that was a nice save. Like, and they always set up the highlight. So if you just watch it, and so this flows into Goal Rush, where you see the Liverpool window pop in, you're like, oh no, here it comes. Oh, thank God. Right. So you got to feel that in real time. It was amazing. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I just want to do some house cleaning. We are going to take a break. We will be here. Should we just wait till after the Champions League final?
Yeah, we have to do Thursday show. We're going to talk about the Champions League on Friday.
No, not do a Thursday show. Just do after the Champions League. Do Monday.
Yeah. All right. So we got 10 minutes. Let's talk about the Champions League final then.
It's Liverpool, Real Madrid. I want Liverpool to lose. Thiago's out. It's on the road. There's no reason that Liverpool should be such big favorites. They are a better team than Real Madrid. But I'm not fucking discounting Real Madrid on anything.
Well, hey, Salah's fine.
They could get fucking outplayed the whole game, be down a goal, and they'll fucking beat you. I don't know. I'm not saying anything about Real Madrid. There's fucking ghosts there. I don't know. They're like the fucking 2000. They're like, basically, Liverpool are literally taking on the energy of the Red Sox pre-2004. And they're going against like the most Yankees of Yankeedom, along with the Boston Celtics mixed in together. And it's Game 7, and it's it's Real Madrid. There's no reason they should win, but they're gonna win.
Yeah. No, look. They've got Benzema. They've got Modric still. They have the heart.
Champion.
They have the heart, and I just yes, of course, I'm rooting for Madrid as well. I mostly because I just don't want Liverpool to win. I want to see Gareth Bale come off the bench and throw a fucking penalty, like a bike
One
kick.
last haymaker.
One last shot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where Liverpool mentally are at this point, right? They've been taking mental body blows of players going down, of this game being important, the extra games of extra time. They basically bagged that Southampton game and were like, we got it. Yo. They've celebrated their players leaving. Now they've lost Thiago. I mean, shocking. Like Thiago he's never available when you need him.
Yeah.
I think Salah's okay. I think they're all
fine.
okay.
He's fine. He played 15 minutes and like, put it this way. He played 15 minutes where they thought they might win the title. He was fucking fine. He'll be fine on Saturday.
But he basically has not been good since January. Yeah. He's been good, but he's not been like goal of the season against City when he tiptoed through my whole fucking team good.
The thing is with Mo Salah is that he doesn't have to be. He needs a moment, right? Like in 90 minutes, he'll find a moment.
Yeah, but he's going against the most moment machine of Momentville.
That doesn't mean that they won't have him too, right? Like, but what I'm saying is like,
well, first of all, here's my thing. Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to get his ass handed to him by Vinicius. You have not seen this man. He is scoring a goal. And if Vinicius can just not shoot every time and be like, oh, look, there's Mbappe. Because somehow Mbappe, excuse me. He, by the way, not going to Real Madrid.
Not going to Real Madrid.
Fucking weird.
Huge news.
That's another story.
The old rope and dope.
He's keep getting them checks, Killian. I think his mom was like, you go to Spain with those whores. You stay home with your mama. I don't know where that came from. It's not French. I don't know who it is. You stay home in Paris.
You go to Spain with those whores.
Because there's whores in Spain? I don't know.
Exclusively. There is not a single whore in Paris at all.
Yeah, no whores in Paris.
No whores anywhere in Paris.
I don't know.
Not at Killian's mom's house. That's for goddamn shit sure.
I don't know what's happening. I've lost control of the show a long time ago.
We both think Liverpool's going to win, even though we don't want them to. And you're right. We're not doing a whole show on the Champions League final because we have less than Liverpool has left at this point. We've done 65 games. We are out.
Yeah, we're done. We're done. So we're going to probably take at least until the last week in July off.
Yeah, I will actually be in person with Laurent, and we'll do a show then to preview the season, likely, like you said, near the mid-end of July. But yeah, I mean, it's been a ride this year. It's been fun doing it with you, buddy.
Yeah, I love you, man.
It's and we shouted them out before. Dave and Chris from Chop Sports, those dudes fucking rock. They let us just do all our stupid shit and do whatever we want.
They fund the show.
And our friends at Fan Hub, we love you so much. Russ,
and shout out to Russ, Stockport County. You went up, baby.
Hey, attaboy, Russ. There he is.
Stockport. Hey, I know about Stockport. That's where Phil Foden's from.
And when we do come back, we want a Stockport County preview from Russ. So we're gonna have him on the show.
He's very grumpy. I talked to him twice.
Dude, it's okay.
He's very English. He's sad. The sky is close to the ground. It's always raining. We're going to get a very English perspective.
I'm excited about it. Another shout, our friend Ollie Carpenter, who's a Chelsea guy. Follow him at Goalytics. If you're hanging around
and the third Squeaky Bum Timer, Chari, who is
our friend,
chat
producer Chari.
Producer Chari, who's in our chat and always responds to all our stuff, so gives us a lot of content and his classic pain of Ajax losing and Arsenal falling apart. Both perfect.
He's so wonderful that I almost felt bad for Arsenal. One other thing we'll get to enjoy that we did not make fun of nearly enough in the last month.
Oh.
There is an all or nothing for Arsenal Football Club, and I can't wait. I'm going to make popcorn. It's going to be amazing.
They're going to
my
have
God.
the Obama. It's all going to be Obama.
It's going to be a mess until this meteoric rise of this young team, and they're so lovable. And 3-0 to Tottenham Hotspur. That's okay. They'll still be fine. And then they fuck it up again, and they drop
that
to
Newcastle.
Which, by the way, you had them at 6, and I laughed at you. If you would have told them before the season, they're going to be 5th.
Yeah,
they would have done a backflip.
It's a perfect progression. They're going to go in the Europa League and have a great time.
They're my pick to pip Chelsea for that last Champions League spot. So I think Spurs don't quite join the high ranks of City and Liverpool, but they're the next best.
City and Liverpool are gone.
No. What I'm saying is I think Spurs bring them back a little bit. I think
there's literally no way United could be that bad again. None. Zero.
Not that bad, but not 13 points better.
No,
I don't think they're. I think they're.
If they get to 70, that would be huge.
I don't see them being better than anybody ahead of them next year.
This league is fucking tough.
It's good. It's
really good. And then my guys in blue.
Yeah.
The fucking Seagulls. Come on, Brendan.
They're a team that I worry about. They might get picked apart.
Cucurella's already replacements. Leaving. No, he's not.
You thought he was going to you guys.
We said it. That doesn't mean he's going. They say it about everybody.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You should want Cucurella. He's perfect Spurs.
Yeah, I know. You know what? We'll do one summer show as like a transfer.
Yeah, just to say
roundup or whatever. Yeah.
If we have any.
We'll miss you guys.
I'm going. I'm getting tired.
Get out of my sight. Thank you all for listening. We love you. Hit it, Laurent. Let's get out of here.
That was the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike Salerno and Laurent Cortines. We are the football wing of El Chop Sports Network. We record on Tuesdays and Fridays, so be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you're listening on Apple, please rate and review the show. And thank you, Fan Hub. And thank you, everyone. And the German references have fallen off in the second half. But we will find out more later on.